Hello, everybody. This is Witch of the Wizard for your weekly Twin Flames, the Twin Within Energy report. This is for the week of April 28th through May 4th. And yes, may the 4th be with you. I thought I'd just go ahead and get that out of the way. Anyway, I'm going to just jump right into it. I really got to come up with an intro speech at some point. But yeah, this is for everyone. This is for anybody, whether you feel like you're on a twin flame path or not. Honestly, this is just for anybody who wants to really connect with themselves in a deeper, more meaningful way. I pull one card for the masculine energy, one card for the feminine energy, and an oracle card to tie that together for the week. And so we all have masculine and feminine energies running through us, whether you're a female or a male. It does not matter. And regardless of whether you're a female or a male, one of those will generally be more dominant within you. It has nothing to do with sex, although, we often think that females usually are stronger in the feminine energy. Not always the case. And that we always think that males are more dominant in the masculine energy. Again, not always the case. And neither one of those is right or wrong. It's just, it's just who you are came in this world to be, and that's kind of that. So the whole purpose is to become more aware of both of those energies, whether they are feminine or masculine. And if you don't know, figure out which one of those is more dominant within you. So that you can get a better understanding of how you work in this world, and get to know better the energy that is not as strong within you, or is not as prevalent. Maybe it's not as favored. We tend to say that we have a dominant hand, but maybe that's just your favorite hand, and the other hand you can still use it, and the more you use that non-prevalent hand, the better you get with it. And so that's how I like to think of the masculine and feminine energies. It's just kind of getting to know where our comfort levels are with each one of those, and see where we can start to utilize the other energy more, so that they become more in alignment with each other, more balanced. Because when your feminine and your masculine energies are really balanced, they just become very synergistic with each other. Anyway, so starting right off, we have the feminine energy, and we have the Two of Swords in reverse. So my personal take on the Two of Swords in reverse is, well, you see how this person, I'm going to turn it up right. You see how they're, first of all, the swords, in my experience, the swords are all about discernment. Being able to use our discernment, in our thinking, and our, sort of logical discernment, but not always logical, but it's really just discernment, right? And I think that discernment comes from when you are really well connected, when your third eye is open, to its greatest. The more your third eye is open, the better your discernment, right? You're able to kind of see through the BS, and get right down to, what's important and what's not important. So for me, the Two of Swords, they're always saying, oh, it's about making a decision. And I guess that's true if you're trying to divine the future, right? If you're trying to foretell the future. I don't really use tarot cards that way. I use tarot cards as more of, what is this energy trying to teach you? And so I see this person is, got those two swords, and they're blindfolded, and she's got the moon above her. So to me, this kind of evokes that image of Luke Skywalker as he is practicing with his lightsaber on the Millennium Falcon, and he's got the helmet on with the blast shield down. He can't see, and he says to Obi-Wan, he's like, "Well, how am I supposed to, block the shots from the training probe when I can't see. And Obi-Wan says, you don't need your eyes. You have to stretch out with your intuition, and it will tell you where those shots are coming from, right? So it's kind of this always, to me brings up the use the Force, Luke, and you see the moon like right up here, and the moon is all, it's about the unseen world. It's about our intuition. It's about, it's like the high priestess. The high priestess is connected with her sixth sense. She is connected with the knowingness of the universe, right? That information, those connections that you can't see. You have to reach out with your feelings and know that they are there. And so because she's blindfolded, it's kind of using your third eye chakra to gain that keen insight and discernment. Not really just looking at, the facts. I mean, you can, this also kind of reminds me of the Justice, where Justice, has the blindfold. Excuse me. Because Justice is really looking past the idea of Justice being blind is it's looking past the surface trivial information. It's looking past the personal, our personal predilections, our personal, what priorities and what we think is right or wrong, and looking at the pure raw facts. But then, because we are talking about Tarot, and this is about something more than just the material world, it really is connecting with your higher self, that higher connection, to get that discernment, to be able to make choices, and not just looking out at the myriad of material world, the things, the details in your material world, and looking outside of you to try and figure out, gosh, what do I do? It's about going within, connecting to your higher self, getting that discernment, and knowing what the right choice is. So it is in reverse, which means that we're not doing that. Our feminine energy is really, and that is like the main job of our feminine energy. The main, our feminine energy, for me, for the tarot deck that I want to make, the first card after the Fool isn't the Magician. It's the High Priestess. Because the Fool has nothing. Literally nothing. Just, kind of the clothes on its back, and it's skipping out into the world on a wing and a prayer. It's just got nothing to work with. And so what is the first thing that you can do to help yourself on that journey? It's the High Priestess, connecting with your higher self and starting to get that information that's not a part of this world, right? It's everyone has access to the Akashic records. Everyone has access to their higher self. Everyone has access to their spiritual team. If they ask for help, you'll receive it. And so for me, my book, the High Priestess is the next one, because that's the next logical step of saying, out of nothing, you can get something if you're willing to go within and connect. And that is the feminine energy. And so for whatever reason, our feminine energy is really resisting that connection and that discernment, still looking to the exterior world to try and figure out which move to make. And it's just not going to make the right choices that way, right? And it's good to always get kind of like the lay of the land, but you really have to go within. You have to meditate, and that's the main thing that meditation does for us, is that it gets us connected to our inner voice, our higher self. And we start to filter out the signal from the noise, so that we know, like, we get that discernment, right? So maybe the message here is, really, if you don't have that meditation practice, I struggle with that. 2 minutes a day is all you really need. Just 2 minutes. Meditate. Go within. Take a minute break on the hour, and just shut your brain down and breathe for a minute. Go within and listen for that signal, that internal signal, that compass that's always going to point you to your true north, right? So that's the feminine energy for this week. we need to focus on going within, connecting with our higher self, to get that discernment, so that as these choices, because I don't know about you all, but man, spring has sprung. We're actually getting really close to May Day, which in the old times was the for the people who didn't pay attention to the astrological wheel, but the farmers, the people who actually were dealing with the land and the seasons, May was beginning of summer, right? So you have beginning of February is the beginning of spring. You've got the spring equinox is mid-spring, and then you've got May Day, which is the beginning of summer, and then the next big event is your summer solstice, which used to be called midsummer. So there's a lot going on. It seems like all kinds of things are popping up, like all the trees have already flowered, and the flowers are popping up. Everything's coming up. I know that my grass has grown like 2 feet in about 3 days. So there's a lot going on in the land right now. A lot of different things coming at us, a lot of opportunities, a lot of action, and it can be confusing on which way to go. I feel like that those two full moons in Libra really did a number on me, as far as, and I don't mean in a bad way, but I feel myself really vacillating back and forth between what I was feeling those last 2 years of just like blah, versus all these kind of really nice new possibilities coming up. And so I feel like 1 minute I'm really excited and hopeful, and the next minute I'm kind of back in that blah space. And I think those two full moons in Libra were reminding us to have that balance of, you learn from the past, but leave the past in the past and stay focused on what's coming up, because that's the only thing that really matters. So go within, connect with your inner voice, with your inner signal, and get into that mode of discernment where you can just make those snap moves, those decisions, and you're not constantly checking outside of yourself to try and figure out, well, what's the best move? Maybe this because of, blah, blah, blah. It's not about the external things. You go within. If you use the force, you'll know what the right answer is. So work on that feminine energy. And then the masculine energy. Oh man, these cards are killing me. It's the Ace of Cups in reverse. So Ace of Cups, that's that's connecting with your heart, connecting with your own sense of trust in yourself and love in yourself. And it really is kind of like, for me, it's really that love and trust that you have for your own internal guidance and desires. So, if you're not really connecting with that on the feminine side, then the masculine side is going to be like, I don't know. Can we trust this guidance? Because the feminine energy is where you get your guidance for your masculine energy action, right? The masculine acts based on the masculine energy acts based on the guidance from the feminine energy, which is all about your priorities and desires and your compass and where you're going to go in life and what what your passions are, what you're here to do, right? And if that's not in alignment, then the masculine energy is kind of going, I don't know, and there's a lot of humming and hawing and disconnecting and getting distracted by external material things that aren't helping you one way or the other. And so for the masculine energy, we really need to just say, all right, well, we're going to trust anyway. And that's what faith is all about. Faith is all about trusting when things don't look clear, when you're not really sure. If the direction you're heading in is the direction you're supposed to be heading in, and you just have to trust. You have to have faith. You have to have faith and put your focus into your actions, and your actions have to come from your heart and not from your head, and what you feel passionate about, what you believe in, even if you're not really sure that you believe in it that strongly. You're sort of kind of believing it, kind of not believing it. But again, that's where the meditation comes in, and you'll know the right thing, even if it doesn't add up in your head. It's the right thing in your heart, and you just gotta go for it. You gotta take those actions. You just gotta do it, and you will start to see the positive feedback from your actions. The world will start to reflect positively, and when you're full of doubt and you're not sure, that's when you really got to double down and take those actions and do it anyway. Because if you wait around for the external world to reflect back to you, yeah, take this action, it's the right action, it's going to take forever, or it's never going to happen, right? You got to just go ahead and take that leap of faith, dive into that, to that cup of love for yourself and for what your heart is telling you to do, and just do it, even if you're just not that sure, even if you're not that sure, because you're not taking that time to connect with your higher self. Just go ahead and do it. Take action. It will bring you positive results. I guarantee it. Even if it's not immediate, it will happen. So that's the masculine energy. All right, and for our oracle card, we got Rescue in reverse. Son of a gun. Rescue in reverse. All right. 16. Hang on a second while I look that up and I'll read it. This week. All right. You are always safe and secure and free to be yourself. Well, I like that. Okay. So, however, it came up in reverse. Are you trying to rescue another? Do you believe your love can change someone and miraculously heal this person? Or are you waiting to be rescued? Oof. Boy, that kind of hits home. Do you believe that someone will sweep you off your feet and take you away from all your troubles? Reversed, the rescue card cautions you against romanticizing your situation right now. Look closely and see reality as it is rather... Look closely and see reality as it is rather than the illusion of how you'd like it to be. You need to step back and rescue yourself. Trust that spirit will guide you to expose the illusion so that you may discern the difference between truth and fantasy. So, again, yeah, this seems to work really well with our cards. It's about discernment and not looking towards the external world, something outside of yourself, to point you in the right direction or show you the way. It's really about connecting with your higher self so that you can trust what your heart is telling you to be true and take action upon that. Don't look to the external world to point the direction for you. Don't look for somebody to come in and hand you the way forward on a nice little platter. You've got everything you need inside of you, right? Oops. Go in, connect with your higher self, use the force, take action on it. You won't be sorry. You won't. And rescue yourself, right? Because you don't need anybody else's help. You've got the entire manual inside of you. You've got all the answers. You've got the teacher's edition. Just connect within you and look up those answers and move forward and just do it. So I know that's what I'm going to do to the best of my ability. I mean, none of us are perfect. So there's going to be things that I hold back on, but there's also going to be things that I move forward on, and it will continue to bring positive actions. And the more we focus on that, the more that kind of builds up our trust in taking those leaps of faith, taking that action, moving the ball forward, and it just kind of starts to snowball. And you start to go, wow, why didn't I do this sooner? Well, because it's really difficult to do. So don't beat yourself up about that either. I mean, this is like really hard to do. That's why there's so few people that can do this, that can just really believe in themselves, regardless of what the external world is telling them, and they just do it, and they're successful. Even if they fail 9 times out of 10, it doesn't take that many wins to start to pile up the win column in your life. And once you get a couple of wins under your belt, it just gets easier and easier and easier to keep moving forward until you get that next win. So that's it for this week. Thank you. If anybody has any comments, please leave comments in the section below. Please subscribe, please like, share, all that kind of good stuff. I hope you have a great week ahead of you. I think there's a lot of good stuff coming towards us. So if you're getting into kind of a funky mood, just realize that it's part of that that double Libra full moon cycle that we just had. And just kind of let it go. Realize that that's the past, and that like the really cool stuff is coming up. We're in the last few days of spring. We're barreling into summer. And this is when things are just going to start to explode, right? We're going to have several good months of all kinds of stuff growing, like new things growing. And then harvest time's not that far on the corner. So get it going, get it moving. I know each one of you has some really great things that you're working on, manifesting into your life. So I know I am. I think 2019 is going to be a really great year. Certainly it's started out that way, and it continues to move in that direction. So I'm excited. I wish you all well. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.